Drow Ranger solo mid if need be.
Right.
Get a fast level 6, the other lanes are very strong because of it. You might not be the strongest laner, but once you're 6, there's actually a lot of kill potential, a lot of rotation potential.
And you don't really mind having the Drow Ranger versus the Weaver because of how powerful that silence can be versus that hero. Usually VGJ Storm with their Drow Ranger lineups are going to try and get a lot of team fight after this because they feel like their lanes are mostly going to be secured. They're going to have another ranged hero core. With that Drow Ranger aura, your lanes are probably going to go well. So now you just need to make sure your team fight is good as well. I'll go back again to the Phoenix, the Earthshaker, those kind of heroes.
But what I really like is, look at VGJ Storm's bans. All 5 bans are just really targeted for the Drow Ranger. You want to have a very strong laning phase. PL, of course, is a hard counter in mid-late game, and you just really want to make sure that this Drow Ranger is going to have a great game.
Yeah. I think the PL is more, they don't like playing against it. They've banned it 50 times in the last 6 months. It's their most banned hero against them. 50. Wow. And their second most banned at TI. They've banned it 11 times now in the matches that they've played so far at TI. I think that's just a, we don't want to play PL.
Yeah, I keep saying this, but I feel like the meta, there are certain heroes that are out of the meta right now that work up very well against Phantom Lancer. I feel like most of the heroes that are actually good right now are only half measures to being able to deal with the Phantom Lancer. So I'm down with any team that just takes it out instantly.
Yep, they're a big remover. They played it a couple of times as well. Rezo's played it twice in the group stage.
I always feel like, though, you pick a PL first 2 like OG did.
Could easily get countered.
Even if there's counters, right? The hero can just snowball out of control really quickly. Like, you get a good start and suddenly you just like run away with the game.
It's a problem for many teams. KP said it was a really big problem for Newbie as well this tournament. They just haven't been able to find a way of coping with it.
Yeah. PL can be an insane hero. I'm back with the Tusk. Rare hero.
It's very much a comfort pick for No Fear. He played it in both of their tiebreaker games against IG. He's always played it a lot. That and like Earth Spirit are kind of the 2 heroes I'd associate most with him.
Good against Drow.
Yeah.
Can snowball on him.
Gap closer, like BKB piercing stuff.
You can save people if they get arrowed.
Yeah, you've got a lot of counterplay with both those supports, right? Like they're going to try and some sort of team fight initiation. You're going to global silence. You're going to try and snowball save.
The only thing I would like for Winstrike now is like a hard initiator, that you can really make the use of the global silence offensively. Because right now they don't really have that.
Bane on the other side.
Against Tusk.
SVG play already.
This hero really takes a huge advantage out of the Drow Ranger aura because of you just sleep and get a bunch of right clicks in. Yeah. It's also probably one of the strongest laning phase supports as well.
Not particularly good against Silencer or Tusk though.
No.
Like both of them are very good against Bane. A lot of ways to counterplay the grip. Lycanthrope. That is...
We've been talking about this.
That is an insane pick right now, actually.
I think Lycan's been very underpicked this tournament.
Yeah.
A 4th, 5th pick Lycan can actually win you games, and honestly, right now it's looking amazing.
Yeah, and the kind of heroes that deal with Lycan, you don't normally want to be picking in a Drow strat. Lycan historically has been a great counter to Drow. You just run right at the Drow. You've got this super speed Necrobooks and Helm of the Dominator creeps.
Yeah. If you ever on top of the Drow, he's dead.
Yeah. This is something Winstrike, again, busted out in that tiebreaker game and have had success with, so it's not like they're just doing something that makes sense on paper. They've actually executed and played this in their previous games.
Do you think they could have gotten away with the last pick Lycan? No. They probably want to last pick...
I think because they've shown it before, they have to pick it now or it gets banned. I think that's why they force pick it. Because
I also think they want to have Iceberg's hero last, right?
Yeah, that also helps.
Yeah, because Iceberg is... Well, he used to be at least the MVP of the team.
Yeah, I think he still is like half the time.
So giving him the 10th pick is definitely a good choice. He has a good hero pool.
Well, it's also like if you don't 10th pick his hero, it's going to make VGJ Storm be like, why aren't they 10th picking Icebergs? Why are they last picking a off laner or a safe laner, depending where the Weaver's going? And I think Lycan will be like, oh yeah, that hero owns our lineup.
Yeah. One of the things you always struggle with when you have Mirana in your lineup, especially if you put it side lane, is the fact that you won't actually have that kind of hard initiator. I really like both Earthshaker and DK here for VGJ Storm. I think both of them work really well with Drow Ranger lineups, and they also give you kind of that hard lockdown. Ooh, the Wyvern counter to Lycan.
The classic counter.
And a good counter to the pickup of the Weaver as well.
Yeah, it's still like I would say not a full counter, because like, I can't remember who, I think it was Mark was saying, you can still play this Lycan against Wyvern. It's not fun being the Wyvern because he can just send all his summons at you, not his hero, and then like, what are you going to ulti at?
That's what you need to do. You need to split your hero and your summons.
And
you go on 2 targets.
Yeah, the good Lycan players will just send all their summons one way, their hero won't be right next to them, so you can't actually always effectively use your Winter's Curse against Lycan.
It's kind of like a Meepo in that regard, where if you're really good with the hero, it's very hard to actually counter you. But your micro needs to be really, like, on top.
What do you think Winstrike need to wrap up their lineup? You need some sort of source of heavy magic damage, right?
Yeah, or even like I would like a good stun too. Right now they only have a Tusk. Like I wouldn't mind something like a DK.
They banned
for
that themselves, though.
Oh, they banned DK already, yeah.
Yeah. I think the DK ban made sense, but it would fit their lineup.
Yeah. It's just a bit scary to play if you only have one stun, you know? Like, right now, if they get any disable or rooted at all, they can't really kill anything. Especially because they have Winter Wyvern as well as Bane to save people.
Yeah.
So, like, going on them is going to be really difficult.
I think they're mid. They're just going to look for a good lane matchup because they want to get this Lycan off to a good start. They're going to be looking at what is our lane, what counters that hero. Tusk can theoretically roam, so they may pick something for Iceberg that has good kill potential with the Tusk rotations.
Something like a Storm would be possible too.
And that's where it's like they have that last pick. So wait until you know what your enemy lanes are going to be. You can see Winstrike actually banned Venge. They see, you know, this Wyvern could be a 3 position, Mirana could go mid.
Could see like Venge Core as well. We haven't really seen that much this tournament, but
Venge actually amplifies Draw Ranger way too much.
Yeah.
When they're having some good fun in the booth. Yeah. Iceberg is like, they're going to pick this here, I'm going to crush that guy with this.
They're just enjoying themselves full stop.
Alk would have been decent because the Drow lineups kind of come online around that 15-minute stage, and by then often Alk will already have Radiance.
Mm-hmm. And most of the good heroes against Alchemy is actually melee.
Yes.
There's heroes who can really pressure him.
And it's like one of those things where they could last pick it and VGJ Storm may just not have a hero that can bully him in lane. If you can't bully the Alk's lane, if he's actually farming in lane, that Radiance comes so much faster.
5 seconds remaining.
What do they need?
Probably.
They got damage, they got disables.
Do they have enough burst damage? Like that's where I wouldn't
like a frontliner would be good.
Oh, you think frontliner?
Yeah, that's a big frontliner.
Underlord, the fat guy.
Do you know what? We were talking about this morning, and we said if there were 2 heroes that were going to come out in this game, it was Monkey King and the taxi service. And we've got one of the two. He has the worst win rate at every TI, by the way.
This hero is...
And he's only been picked 5 times, only won 5 games ever in the history of TI.
Underlord, he's a bad hero, but he is a kind of counter to Lycan. That's what they're thinking. They're willing to pick a hero.
Take him out the fight, get him away.
Mitigate his damage, just the aura.
You've got the pit as well
root.
against Weaver, as well as Lycan. It just a little bit of control goes a long way.
They need a lot of damage on Winstrike right now. If that guy ever gets piped Crimson Guard, it's going to be very difficult to chew through the lineup.
Something like a Lina here could be
Lina,
decent.
I like Lina.
Invoker, possibly.
Invoker is what I was thinking about a lot. I'm not sure if you have the setup for Exort Invoker. That might be too slow, but you want the damage out of it.
You want the damage out of it, and he can like transition to like a more crowd control kind of hero, because I think that's what they're lacking right now.
You want a Storm Spirit?
Storm Spirit is very hard to play against an Underlord. If he ever roots you, you're kind of screwed.
Root, Silence, Bane, there's a lot of control for him.
So one of the big things is they have a really good setup for the pit in the Winter's Curse. They're going to get Firestorm Pit on top of you.
Yeah. And then
Play a Shadow Fiend. That would be something we haven't seen much of.
SF could be possible, but again, like they just have severe problems with lockdown right now. They have one stun.
He has played it once during the groups as well. One of the few people to play
But it didn't win that game.
It did win that game.
They did win?
Yeah, that was one of Winstrike's wins.
One of the big problems for SF is you're going to need to get them the starting soul.
What about Partner to go all and push?
Big magic damage.
Or go global.
Or go damage.
Big magic damage.
And global 1 second stuns.
And you don't like have a whole lot of roaming power to threaten the Zeus either.
You do not at all.
Wyvern, you know.
I mean, I guess if Bane ever sleeps you, you're kind of like, yeah, I'm dead.
Yeah.
All right. Let's bring in the Haz and get some statistical analysis for 60 seconds.
All right, 60 seconds of stats is back, and momentum is more important at the International than at any other tournament in the Dota 2 season. Even with the 2 wins yesterday by Optic and Virtus Pro, upper bracket teams are only 6 and 8 in their next series after dropping down in that first match. This is critical for VGJ Storm today because Winstrike have all the momentum coming into this one, thanks in large part to their offlaner, Non Grata. He went 69 kills, 74 deaths, and 91 assists in his first 13 games here at TI. He is 66, 22, and 77 in his last 6 as Winstrike have gone 5-1 to keep those hopes alive. On the other side, Resolution is 8-0 on Drow since joining VGJ Storm, and UR is trying to break a 6-game losing streak from Mirana, 0-6 here on the main stage. He went 5-0 in the group stage with 60 kills to 12 deaths in those 5 games. Will the Cinderella story story of TI8, Winstrike keep their hopes alive, or can VGJ Storm make that clock strike midnight? To bring it to you, we got the best NA casting duo. Here is Lyrical and Trent.
Thank you so much, Nahaz. My goodness gracious, I love that man's voice.
Found a new role for himself.
You can see it is going to be Winstrike versus VGJ Storm, a Cinderella story if I've ever seen it, for both teams, to be honest, and I'm really excited to see how they show up here in this game number 1 elimination match.
Yeah, we could see in the booth getting started, Rezo throwing lots of love over to his friends there in the Winstrike booth. Very excited to be playing up against them, so expect quite a bit of all chat in this one if you haven't got enough of the chat wheels already.
And it's all in good fun as well. You know, you see these teams, you have one player from Ukraine, the whole entire team, it feels like, from Winstrike as well on the other side of it, and sort of cheering their countrymen on. Have fun, good luck comes out, and early movement towards the bottom lane. So often we've seen level 1 battles happening down here, and it does feel like Yawar playing on the Mirana is sort of the king of it, being able to find himself a arrow pickoff potentially.
Very early show of the Drow Ranger in this match for VGJ Storm, but not a hero that is quite as risky as she used to be, of course, and in this match going to be particularly interesting, looks like, with the Atomization heading to the mid lane for Resolution. As perhaps just a little bit too much pressure there, worried about it on the side lanes for the Drow Ranger, and with that last pick in the Underlord, kind of makes sense.
Totally, you don't want to have to run into that attribute or just so much of a, well actually, excuse me, the other way around. He wants to make sure that he can have a good time against the Weaver. Bottom lane, MSS going to move over and try and contest for a rune, throw out the Arcane Curse, and then the back away. You know, I wanted to talk a little bit about Tusk too. It's a hero that I think we've been seeing a little bit more often, and No Fear plays it amazingly. I think that they were almost undefeated going into it with this hero. He's incredibly strong, being able to mess with the waves a little bit with shards as well. How do you feel like he's going to in this game?
I think he's definitely not as powerful as he once was with the nerfs to the shard, but 4 seconds is still a pretty long time in the early game, right? Lots of time for some extra right clicks to go in there. You're up against a Drow lineup. Drow lineups mean heavy physical damage coming at you, so any sort of mitigation here is going to help you. And SVG
makes the play, moves in, and gets the Radiant.
Is this how you get a 77% win rate on Bane? It must be through that.
I mean, he plays it well, and it does look like Iceberg going to have a bit of a tougher time now. He did get the salve brought out to him at the very least, so things somewhat mitigated the damage there, and SVG going to make the movement up towards top where he's going to be shards in. As you said, though, only 4 seconds means he should be able to get an easy walk away.
Yeah, and this is why you get to see the Drow in the mid lane, right? It makes sense. You got a Bane, Mirana pairing up together. They had to do some lane swaps. That's why they weren't able to secure 2 of the bounty runes like you'd like to, only getting 1 handy 3 over the Winstrike. But they will get the matchups that they prefer here, and this is this Underlord versus the Lycan that they were hoping for.
There's also going to be taking the MSS treatment. Constant spamming out of that Splinter Blast is always one. Fly also going to take a few of these punches. What is it that makes this match just so tough? Is it just melee heroes in general against Underlord?
Yeah, that for sure. But with Lycan and all of his summons, Underlord has a pretty interesting spell in the pit that it just kind of hits everything that's in there, right? It's all about that one AoE, doesn't matter how many units, so Lycan, all of his summons can get trapped inside, and then that attribute aura just makes them impossible to go on, often building into a Vanguard, Crimson Guard 2 to help the whole squad.
We did see in the top lane the creep pull that was coming through as Snake King just continues to pressure in onto the tower of Silent here, and he's going to try and contest for runes. But that's one of the nice parts. It's a little bit interesting that they were able to get that pull off, but Bane taking that brain sap early meant that they weren't able to disrupt the pull.
Yeah, typically a hero that can actually handle that, and he will have the Nightmare now if they attempt it again, but 1 is really all you need in a lot of these lanes.
God, just the spam coming. Good bit of mana there, trying to get into the Soul Ring early. We'll be denied a few of these creeps as well, but as far as sort of the lanes lookout, is there any kill potential really that we should be watching for in this game?
I would think Always Want to Fly has to be very cautious about his positioning. He's going to be very poor in this game, especially with the courier going down. Difficult stuff. It means your enemies are all going to be ahead of you on gold, and he's just walking on the side, hoping to get a stick to try and survive here, and that's just further and further away from his boots.
Oh my goodness, yeah, lots of damage. MSS moving in as well, seeing if they can get the body block, and they do throw out the Firestorm as well. Tough time, but he will be able to get the salve off. He runs away from spam.
But all of that spam, it's just a battle of regeneration, and fortunately for the Lycan, already 2 points in the Feral Impulse, so that means Silent can handle it, but Always Want to Fly does not have such a wonderful ability for himself.
Silencer, fairly squishy in that regard. Mid lane, so far you can see that Drow Ranger having a pretty decent time against the Zeus. It's looking like Zeus actually ended up with a couple more of the denies.
Yeah. Zeus actually getting an Arcane Rune as well to help out just like constant spam, but Rezo still holding strong here with the salve after using both of his shared tangos.
Of course, resolution, a big part of the reason that you're taking this Drow Ranger is just to ensure that those other lanes go that much better as well. And it does look like, with the exception of the Lake, and they're leading the CS across the board. Nongrata had himself an amazing tournament so far. We'll be looking to try and maybe put the hurt on as the game goes on. But Bane is just such a strong laner. It feels like it's going to be hard for him to bully it.
He is, but he still has to be just as cautious as Always Wanna Fly does. Silencer and Bane, both of them, if they get directly targeted, two heroes on top of you, it can be difficult to escape, especially with someone like a Weaver, who is very slippery and even trying to force a couple of leaps out of you are up top now.
Shards does force out one. Give him a little pat on the back as they walk away. Like as teams get ready for the next round of bounty runes, they are able to find an arrow in just first blood. No fear, no man's land.
There it comes. And good thing they got the courier up top just to help out first, and that means that Soul Ring will be delayed for the bottom lane, but you can see they're quite fine. Thinking we'll hold the line here. Not going to be a lot of early pressure onto this one with the combination of the Splinter Blast as well as the Firestorm. How are you ever going to just like push into this early tower, which of course is one of those lovely parts about having a Lycan.
Going to be trying to do with the Lycan draft. Maybe he's going to need to make some type of a quick rotation, as Always Wanna Fly had a creep near him. The Splinter Blast hits, but this is just to secure this large camp for themselves, and then afterwards also get the bounty room.
Exactly. Don't overextend in that moment. Maybe you'll get the kill. Half the time, dying as a support can sometimes be really worth it if you're actually out of your mana. So they're still trying to hold this position. Always Wanna Fly moves in.
Yeah, they're also battling for him on the other side. Arrow goes out there. They were able to take the bounty room with MSS. Now trying to get away, but also dealing the damage to Silent. So,
meanwhile, up top though, no fear. He's the one who's gone a bit too deep into his own territory as the Weaver just abandons him for the other bounty rune that Nongrata will get for his squad.
I mean, that's really the danger of this Bane Mirana combo. It's a tale as old as time. We've seen it a million times. You set up the arrow easily, and if there aren't creeps around to take it, just going to be a kill.
And sometimes you can make these plays where like one hero will be Nightmare and the other one can kind of like tank the arrow and help each other out. You don't really want to tank it as a Weaver.
Ooh, resolution. Getting dove after, but able to dodge the strikes, and well, they're actually going to turn this now with the salve, and No Fear again in some trouble. They're chasing forward for this. SVG looking for the chase as well. They do get the Nightmare down onto one, trading it over now as they try and dodge it. Actually able to dodge the Splinter Blast. Nice play there, but it is going to come at the cost of his life, and now No Fear also in trouble. Snowballs back to the creeps. Does he have enough to get out of there with the frost arrows? I don't think so.
No, just one last shard thrown down there. 4 kills to 0 now for VGJ Storm, coming out strong with the Drow lineup. That level 6 helping out a bit in that engagement. And now 25 damage for the 4 heroes on VGJ Storm. This Drow Ranger aura.
That's so much. And I mean, you saw there as well, the reason that you picked this Tusk, you want to try and get on top of that Drow, but if you realize that this gank is coming, you can move back, you're pretty decent, and of course the rotation sealed the deal. So great play so far from VGJ Storm, a 1k gold lead, 6.5 minutes.
And the one who not benefiting from that aura in this game, of course, will be snaking on its Underlord. And yeah, talking about Underlord earlier today, the VG game was the one coming up. That's where we thought, all right, maybe it's going to come back out. It seemed like they were the only team that were really opting in towards it, but this really is a fantastic game for it. He's a natural aura builder as up top.
Has the bugs on him. Shards out as well. Second lead going to be used. Does not have another one as Nongrata chasing.
Such a good hero versus both Weaver and Tusk. Like, you really can't do too much. Nice attack speed for the bugs, and then the leaves too from the snowball and shards. But Rezo.
Shapeshift just going to tee away. Do they have enough? Does he get a crit? Oh, the Thunder God's Wrath. Iceberg. Now sinking. Also force out the Firestorm and then run away. So Silent getting a really good value out of that first ulti.
Yeah, likewise for Iceberg too. And this is the idea behind the counter. You just want these gap closers. You saw the ban on the Spectre. That would have been another excellent hero there for Winstrike, but Lycan is someone who could be stronger in lane, but still perform that same action of focusing down that Drow Ranger. And again, that is where you're hoping Snaking's going to come in. He's going to be able to build an aura in this game in terms of like, he can go for the Greaves, he can go for the Crimson Guard, he can go for the Pipe, whatever the team needs at that point. And both Underlord and Tidehunter were these kind of old, classic counters to the Global Silence because you can naturally build these Greaves.
They are going to need something like that, and so eventually you get into level 6 for Always Wanna Fly. The space closers are just going to be able to do that much more against the Drow Ranger.
Race for the rune here. Raindrop saving MSS.
The Arctic Burn, he's going to be able to find the deny. On the other
Hey,
side,
he denied the ward too, so extra value.
Minutes. Now Winstrike that have been able to strike back a bit, feeling okay about themselves. If you're looking at this game, is there any team that you feel like is more happy coming out of the laning stage?
I think just pretty even, I guess, is how you'd expect this to go, right? Like, it's unlikely Lycan gets out of control because of the lane he's facing, and likewise up top for Winstrike versus the Mirana, you're not expecting a lot of kills. But they haven't lost too much. In fact, they're ahead overall in net worth. There's some concerns because of the draft strat, but you just need to focus on your own lineup and really try and secure that Roche pit, I would say, early on. As you do have a Lycan, try and take advantage of that.
We do see the Lycan already trying to make some space for himself, and out the last word, always want to fly.
Yeah, he knows he's in.
That's a lot of damage, and with Zeus to clean it up, just want to fly in.
Yeah, solid commitment though. There's no way he gets out of that, so gets the 1-for-1 trade.
We did also see SVG make the move around. He's still one level away from having that Fiend's Grip available. Maybe one of the nice ways to deal with the Bane, and actually gonna get the snowball chase in. SVG, Moonlight Shadow, is he gonna get out of there in time? The Brain Stab keeps him alive. The arrow also in there, and they take down Nangrata. Yawar hitting it blind, and now chasing down No Fear. He smells blood, eats up a tusk. Double kill for Yawar.
Wow, the savior of SVG comes in, and Nangrata even gives him the tip and says, all right, very well played, not gonna lie. Like, Bane, you're just helpless. What's the SVG gonna do with that bug on top?
Well, and as we mentioned earlier, it does feel like this Lycan is going to need to make some type of rotation if he wants to secure a tower, because bottom lane is just not happening. You've got the Firestorm, you've got the Winter Wyvern that can move in as well and throw out those Splinter Blasts. It's so hard to get a creep wave to that tower and keep it alive. And
what they've also done for VGJ Storm is they're giving a lot of space to the supports. Like, constantly dual lane up top for SVG means he's almost level 6, and then MSS gets to the mid lane too, while Rezo heads to the jungle. So you've got over level 5 for both supports, whereas on the Radiant side, just hitting level 4 for No Fear, and just hitting level 5 for Always Want to Fly.
Is under attack.
Smoke rotation. Strike have an inkling that this is happening as nobody is showing themselves in the top lane as of yet. The goal is for Silent here. He does still have a shapeshift if he wants to go for it. SVG, the Fiend's Grip is there though, and now all the damage in the world coming out onto this Lycan. They're going to Dark Rift after the fact. Immediate rotation, it looks like, is they actually maybe killing off No Fear. They cancel it. He almost dies, but trying to fog them away. It's not going to happen. They get the kill on the Tusk.
Really like that play. Just in case, put some threat in that top lane. They do stick around though. Not going to be too concerned about it. And it looks like they'll get this with the catapult.
Dire's top tower.
Well, Wyvern coming through, not quite level 6 though. It looks like they might have used that tome for SVG.
Arrow barely off the mark there from Yawar. Was trying to find the Weaver as he was Sakuchiing away. But they are going to bring that tower very, very low. Not quite within deny range. 12 HP away from it. Now 11 minutes in. 1,000 gold lead for VGJ Storm, and again, every time you push in, Underlord is there. It's so hard to assault these towers. Nightmare?
Yeah, and very unfortunate for Silent that his ultimate actually got off, right? Because he ends up losing the cooldown, and now it's difficult to pressure this tower. They can just rotate essentially one hero into that lane, and it feels like the push is completely stopped.
Yeah, that's the nice part. Sometimes you can just dive the tower as the Lycan, find a kill. Not going to happen. Also, we did finish off that Vanguard on Underlord just a couple of minutes ago. That much kill with this lineup, unless there is going to be Iceberg around the area.
Yeah, it's his job to just put the body in between the rest of VGJ Storm and that Lycan.
Just what are you hiding, Rashad?
Sandwiched in between some sentries right now, and finds the best way out of there.
Yeah. Scroll, which I can see. SVG also going to make his move around. He has Fiend's Grip back up in 14 seconds. Head top and try and keep that tower alive.
They've already smoked those two supports. Rotating down bottom near Rezo, see if they can utilize the damage of the Drow Ranger to perhaps bring down this Lycan. They have the vision on him. See him from that Observer Ward.
His shapeshift is back up in 5 seconds now, and
he's not leaving.
I don't know about this. They see him. They realize that SVG in the area just going to grip him, and the punches are there as well. As this is going to be Lycan fallen yet again.
So much bonus damage.
Always Want to Fly shows up, and the snowball, they try and turn this. There's going to be the Winter's Curse. Now, No Fear kind of in an awkward position, but maybe they can actually fully commit here for resolution. There's the Nightmare onto one. You are trying to make the damage happen. He's turning on to No Fear as well. They're going to be able to find the kill with the Thunderhead's Wrath, and Yawar needs to run and hide, but they've got eyes on him. Winstrike striking back in a big way.
Very costly there for VGJ Storm, unable to exit the area after the pick, so great response there from Winstrike. And now the dangerous thing is their wards are in some fairly common spots, especially up against the Zeus, so it's likely they lose these too.
And again, the presence of mind to realize we can still run at you. That is something that this draft does well on the side of Winstrike, particularly if you're able to get your eyes on that Drow Ranger at the get-go, even without the Lycan.
Yeah. But once more, Snake King will say, no, this is my tower. And it remains almost at full HP. Well, they take a couple heroes in the mid lane.
13 Crimson Guard. Not bad. Silent just gonna dodge away from that arrow. Always Want to Fly also in the area. So far, VGJ Storm feeling pretty good about themselves. And No Fear going to be able to pick up an Invis Rune. Still taking a lot of damage, and best ability is just standing still.
Oh, they're scanning. They really want to find him.
Oh, they dropped that Citra when he looks over. He saw the animation. No Fear. Run away, my friend. Oh my God.
There's another sentry.
He's living life on the edge right here. They know he's in this area. They know that this Tusk is here, and he's just going to TP away. What a guy.
All of that space to get the wave all the way to that tower up top. As we know, it's quite low. And Underlord's heading mid, not up to the top lane. So this should be a creep secure on the tower, unless Lycan can get there in time.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
With that Silent, just going to farm up the wave, reveal himself. Necroblith done after the Helm of the Dominator for Silent. Have that 5 armor talent as well to deal with all the right-click damage that's coming out from VGJ Storm.
Yeah, and you heard the panel discussing it, but Lycan, when he was at his peak, there were several months where it felt like he could just be first pick and honestly win you the game. And in a lot of those matches, we would see that Winter Wyvern come out, but Fear, I would say most notably, had to play so many of those games for EG. And every single time, you would always see the same plan happen, where you just split the Lycan and the summons all go on this Winter Wyvern, and what do you do? You curse the summons, and you're basically pleased as the enemy team that it was wasted on them.
You see here as well, they were thinking about going again at the Underlord, but he's just too big of a target. Instead, they're going to make the rotation towards mid. This time around, they do have Global Silence. They want to take this fight. Could be a good moment.
They see that ward freshly planted here, so they know they were definitely in the area. And they've been playing that area too, just knowing that that's where Winstrike have been playing, trying to control up around that Roche pit. And, they are free to farm the bottom, but it's that whole idea of trying to force pressure down here, see if you can get Winstrike to rotate to that bottom and kind of give in to that pressure rather than keeping the Roche for themselves.
Arrow hits onto the Tusk. They got it in his sights. The snowball's going to be there. They're also under the cover of Moonlight Shadow now. They have 2. Global Silence comes out, turns it back around. The shards, but it's not enough to keep him alive. Now Silent chasing forward, seeing if he can find the kill on Yawar. Leaps up to the high ground. Nice jump away there from him on the other side. Not able to get out of there. And Yawar actually plays his way out of that. Always Want to Fly now being assaulted by Snake King. There's going to be a buyback on the Tusk. He wants to get into this fight. They're showing up and they're starting to tear down Winstrike. Not quite caught right on the edge there with the Pit of Malice. He's going to be low on mana. Can they catch up to him? I think so, as it's going to be VGJ Storm finding the kill onto Nagrata. Screaming forward.
They need the damage right now from Silent, and him and all of his summons. I would say about 18 ankles being broken by Yawar there. Hopping up and down from the high ground, running him around like a fool.
Doing a great job of it, man. It just, and he makes it look so easy too. It's not easy to hit. Resolution going to get initiated on. Have the Walrus punch out already.
This is I just bought back and want to feel like it was worth something, and then you just die.
And now VGJ.
I know that very well.
They're feeling so good about themselves. They're going to assault this tier 1 tower. 3,000 gold lead, 17 minutes, 5 to 16. Looked easy for them.
Yeah, and now they've taken over that top half of the map. They didn't get that mid tower.
They have another initiation. The Gust is out. They're spraying on the ground in front of them. They are going to find that kill.
This is one of the most difficult moments in the game where you need to reset as a team for Winstrike. They're not that far behind, realistically. This Roche is still very important. And of course, with them kind of missing from this top half, they're going to try and focus it down. They will at least force TP out of the Yawar from the top lane, but Bugs are ready. They use the ulti, fully scouted. Such an important fight right now.
And they do see him. You don't have the Mirana with you. You might need to back out here as Winstrike going to chase for the moment. It's really hard right now for VGJ Storm to go into this. Or Winstrike try and steal it away themselves. They're just going to hold the pin.
There's 3 levels in the Arctic Burn right now. The curse is up, very dangerous if Lycan is still with the summons.
This is really scary. Now Mirana's shown back up. The Winter's curse to turn it. They find the kill. Great play. Now they're all stuck in the pit of Malice as well. Iceberg going to be found and killed off by snaking the punches. Coming so strong with Silent. Trying to turn this around. He can only get the Bane. They're all stuck again in the pit of Malice. They buy back on the Bane and want to try and take the second round of fights. VGJ Storm just commanding this area.
Yeah, great play. Withdrawing back to their side of the river, holding that high ground for a moment, waiting for the perfect opportunity, and MSS finds it. And now pushing forward once more, SVG. The brilliance of Bane, you can just catch heroes like this unaware. They're trying to send in a summon to help them from the nightmare, but won't be there in time.
Now Roche goes their way, and the last couple of minutes have just been a dumpster fire for Winstrike. It has been impossible for them to get anything going.
Yeah, and both of these lineups really coming together around this point in the game. Clearly, VGJ Storm are the victors in these engagements.
5,000 gold lead. How do you get your feet back under if you're Winstrike? You just need to try and dodge away from fights at this point?
Definitely. See if you can split the map a little bit. Try and force VGJ Storm apart from one another. It can be difficult sometimes because maybe the Underlord is going to be able to create moments of the Dark Rift where you think you're able to gank somebody inside the entire team's there, but you have a defusal on the Weaver. That is something that you could try and use to get a couple kills. See if you can find Rezo farming alone in that jungle. They still have their aggressive vision in the top half of the map, but unfortunately with Roche being down, why would you even play up here right now for VGJ Storm?
They're very comfortable sitting on that side and spot the chance for a kill. Iceberg can just watch his teammate go down and has to back out again. Chance for a kill as well. On to No Fear. Resolution just going to pummel him into dust. They also have now found the Weaver in trouble, or they're just going to run away because Lycan has shown up as well. King there, the Pit of Malice again, catches onto 2. Now Grata forced the time lapse, and they are going to pop the shapeshift. He runs back into it. He's taking so much damage. It does look like they get the kill onto Iceberg also. Everywhere around the map, it's falling apart.
Yeah, Silent maybe just trying to make a little bit of space there for Non-Grata's escape, and in that sense, it will work. But still 5 heroes strong now for VGJ Storm. They've already taken the mid-tier 1. Not a whole lot of objectives in this area unless they want to go for the full-on push to the tier 2, which they could consider with the Zeus still being down, but they're in no rush right now.
And I mean, what's really the threat that you have to deal with now for VGJ Storm? I feel like there's nobody on this map if they're together that feels afraid.
If they're together, right. But I mean, there's still going to be these moments during the global silence. We still don't have answers for that on any of the heroes right now from the dire side. So
the long range arrow, the leap in the sun.
That's a good answer for global silence. You just killed the silencer. Fair enough. They got me on that one.
24 seconds. VGJ Storm feeling good assaulting this tier 2 tower. The avenues for them to start to build momentum in this game are feeling like they're running out for Winstrike. They need to get something on the board. And right here, Non-Grata doing his best to try and cut these creep waves.
Yeah, it's very difficult. He's pretty much the best wave pusher on their team, and it's not really a good sign, right? You can try and throw out some shards or something as a tusk, but you just don't have the mana pool when you're this poor. Nothing for it.
Pass by, ships in the night, the snowball's there though. Maybe an opening. Walrus punches down as well. They throw down the ulti, chasing away you are. Some trouble. They're actually in a dark rift towards this. Looks like you are thinking about chasing now as well. Are they going to try and take this fight? Resolution is here. The punches come out, they have the dust down as well, and there's going to be the Pit of Malice. They're taking these fights on so many different angles, and they're winning all of them, it feels like. Resolution might end up going down. That's only the Aegis, though. Can they find any more global silence? This could be okay for Winstrike as they find themselves second kill. Now the Tusk having fall, but Resolution being chased. Silent did not get hit there by that gust, and as they try to kill him off, Silent wants this so badly. Iceberg as well. They almost find it. Now Grata is there. They take down 3. Now can they find Snaking Arrow to try and stop it? It only hits there onto a wolf. As they chase forward for more, Non-Grata looking for an opening. I don't know if they're going to be able to slow them down.
Definitely felt like a bit of an unnecessary engagement there for VGJ Storm. You know, your Mirana gets caught out. She's escaping. Just let it go. Try and reset. Come back after that. Perhaps they were trying to use the fact that Thunder God's Wrath was already down, but because he rushed this Agnum Scepter for Iceberg, they have a second window now where they can definitely be extremely strong. Like this whole double bubble that's basically been going on for VGJ Storm, well, they'll use the Winner's Curse and then layer it on top of the Pit of Malice. It's been great, but now there's a combo breaker to that with the Nimbus.
Down one of those Necro books as well. And yeah, it does kind of feel like that was the big strat that they've been working together towards, is the fight of what the Underlord brings, and then layer that with the Winter Wyvern. Curious to see if maybe they can find some more pickoffs as well. See how VGJ Storm decide to play this, if they're going to be stuck together or try and head out.
Although it was a great fight, VGJ Storm were sitting on almost like 6K of unspent gold in that moment. We now have a Blink Dagger for the Wyvern and a BKB for the Drow Ranger.
Again, they will find the Silencer so often.
Typical carry contribution right there. Yeah. No worry, SVG, I got this one. Thank you.
It's so often thought of as, you know, the Silencer, the answer for the Fiend script, but if you find him first, it's a really tough time. Have that many saves right now. Feels like they're infinite number of gold away from the Tusk Blink Dagger at this point. Well, but some signs of life over the past couple of minutes for Winstrike. Is arrow a little bit off the mark, but almost finding it. And to bait out some spells from Winstrike. They've been doing a much better job of the past couple of minutes of only taking the good fight. That being said, no fear now. In some trouble, gets the vision, but there's no creeps there for the snowball.
Yeah, and wisely the rest of Winstrike just back away. They know that the second the Drow Range appears from that angle, more heroes have to be approaching, and it actually ends up being a bit of a wasted smoke there for the side of VGJ Storm. So, pretty worthy sacrifice, I would say, for Winstrike to just lose the Tusk.
The tower does have a TP. Feels the need to get out of there.
If they find some sort of a pickoff here, maybe using the Nimbus and the Weaver, it would be a great chance to run down with the Necros, because they're not going to escape the Moonlight Shadow, but there certainly won't be a pick when Lycan's forced out like that. Good TP, almost caught by a curse.
Lucian. That Nangrada's in the area, but will not commit for initiation with the Gust. They go back in again now and spot him. They have the bugs out, in some trouble possibly. Resolution going to be hit with that Diffusal Blade. They're chasing forward though. Now having the Winter's Curse, having everything on deck. That's going to be Nangrada trying to escape, but to no avail, as they will eventually kill off the bug.
Yeah, good hold of the dust there from MSS, waiting for the time lapse. And that is your split pusher going down, so at this point we're down to about a minute and a half until the potential respawn of the Roche, and now we've got a 9k lead for VGJ Storm, and they have the itemization to really give them an edge on the pit. The Nimbus is the best option they have for Winstrike, and it's trying to get a kill here. Thinks about the ulti.
MSS gets hit there.
God, the range, that Aether Lens.
So good. So again, it feels like, you know, they have the tools to take the fight. A lot of time earlier, it was just them taking bad fights. Now they're taking good fights. Winstrike coming back a little bit.
It's looking very difficult. I mean, they find a kill, but their Weaver's dead, so they don't have their full force to try and invade that dire territory. At this point, those aggressive wards they had placed down have long expired, and they haven't been able to really get over that dire side of the map, but they're just fighting blind, hoping to hold their own jungle, as that seems to be where a lot of the attention from VGJ Storm has been. But now they've lost that bottom tower. Basically, all you want to do is get the wave shoving that direction and then move back to the top half of VGJ Storm to be focused on the Roche Pit, as that's going to be the most important thing in this game now.
Already beginning that, starting in the mid. Well, shapeshift.
Silent has ulti here. I think there's a chance for a chase down, but oh, that Nimbus, the nerf to the radius.
The nerf to the radius of the ulti. People said it wasn't enough. Now you know.
Rezo in the area with the Necro 3, though. So could run into trouble, but
has not popped the Necro yet on Silent. They jump forward though. Got him caught. Lots of damage. They were not quite there in time to be able to get it without the Winter's Curse, but with the Winter's Curse, it will certainly be a kill. And a good one.
Well, to the great benefit of Winstrike, almost a max timer on the Roche. So there won't be an opportunity here for VGJ Storm to get in there.
Look at the damage. I mean, it's really just the damage differential, right? Because you've got that Atrophy Aura coming from the Underlord. He's got all these big tanky items. And then on the side of VGJ Storm, you've got that damage amplification coming from the Drow. So it feels like they're just so ineffective. Arrow going out, not going to be on the mark there for no fear. And War has been so deadly on these.
This is one of the best games you're ever going to see for Guardian Greaves, too. This is where Opposite really wants one more.
I mean, no fear is there. There's the Walrus Punch. The BKB is out, though, and you can see War. What does he have to be worried about in this game? The BKB, he's always going to have an answer.
It's far too maneuverable.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Angrata
attack.
back in familiar territory up here. Again, trying to keep this game alive. See if he can get into a BKB. He's got the gold for it, but of course he needs a safe buyback.
So often for this team, Nangrata's been the one to make the plays. He dies a couple of times. I think that's still okay for them as long as he's continuing to make space.
Now, he has definitely been very impressive throughout all of TI. This is a guy who really only played on a lot of those traditional offlaners. I mean, some of his most played would be things like the Bat, right? The old classic, these new styles where you have to play this Weaver, this Mirana, not really something that was ever in his toolkit. We're talking like 10 games sort of a deal in Pro Series. Able to turn up here.
With the dust and the diffusal blade, they get the silence there, but he got the Sakuchi off and now chasing for more silent. Needing to go in onto Snake King. They also get the Nightmare onto the Tusk. There's no safe follow-up. They have the, well, Skull of Silence. I don't think that's enough either. Silent goes down. They have killed off SVG, but it comes at a hell of a cost. And now Snake King walking forward. They drop down sentries and wards. That's going to be another dead. In trouble. Snake King streaming forward, seeing if they can find always want to fly.
He wants him with this curse. MSS.
Oh, they get him there. Up on the high ground. The Pit of Malice is down. Always want to fly being ran after. And there's going to be the Winter's Curse follow-up. They got one after the other. There are no buybacks on these heroes. Iceberg in trouble and dead.
If Lycan's dead and Curse is still up, that fight's going to be very, very difficult. That I can promise you. So Ancients will fall to them, but once more, there is still quite a bit of time until all Roche respawns. They're going to come in the pit and just be like, really? That late?
That's a very late respawn time.
The wave a bit too far out in the top lane, and Nangrata will push it even further back. So that means that you're not going to get any sort of tier 2, so does that mean they want to go straight for the high ground, maybe force out the buyback of this Zeus?
You got to be careful with that. If you do happen to get this buyback, you need to back out afterwards because they do a ton of damage with their
And there's no curse now to defend themselves versus the Lycan. They'll have the ulti in 20.
This is a bold move here from VGJ Storm, just laying down the pit, but they are going to take down this tier 3 tower, it looks like.
They're kind of missing heroes again, too.
It's scary. Of course, the big thing that they've got in their back pocket is going to be that Dark Rift from Snake King, and because of that, they feel confident going forward and taking the tier 3 tower. Good decision to not buy back there on the Zeus.
Yeah, a lot of teams have definitely seemed a bit hesitant, even when you look at the play and you're like, all right, this should be easy. Like, it should be relatively impossible to lose too much here. It's TI, you know, the nerves get to you. You want to play everything as possible. That was just the right amount of aggression there from VGJ Storm.
Out front, the 2-person guts, the Pit of Malice follow-up. Look at the damage coming out as they've got Silent again. It's far too much, and there's the Winstrike curse as well. He's going to be caught and possibly killed off zone, though. If you're trying to take away resolution from the fight, Nangrata did get the BKB off, and they have the snowball saved for the moment. MSS being assaulted. There's no buybacks on the rest of the heroes, though, and Nangrata going to be caught, stunned, and killed.
This just might be the best game for Guardian Greaves. Just being able to cancel out the silence whenever he needs it, and that aura is so impactful, giving yourself some extra HP regen. All this armor against the summons means it's hard for Lycan to try and finish people off.
And no buybacks means it is a barracks being assaulted, and VGJ Storm might damn go for more. Look at how much damage is dealt out by all of this Drow Ranger aura, and still 39 seconds until Weaver is back up. They're going to be taking that tier 3 tower as well. Bottom barracks, they're just Swiss cheese. Always want to fly.
Chance here.
Arrow as well. They he's just getting eviscerated, and they're going to Dark Rift away. Play it safe. VGJ Storm in the first game of Elimination Series.
Yeah, and just going straight to the mid lane, excellently timed, into the Roche pit. Pick themselves up in Aegis and Cheese. Should not take too long.
22,000 net worth lead. 11 to 40.
Yeah, MSS just holding the shrine there. Helm creep comes scared there. Nice pickup. Just building auras to stack with his team.
Winstrike with their back up against the wall, feeling trapped in, needing to make a play. They are going to smoke out as 5. See if VGJ Storm have an inkling that this is happening.
Yeah, they spotted this sentry placed down. They know they're smoked in that area.
And again, just look at the positioning. Snake King is up front and center. They don't want to have to run to the Underlord first. Even ahead of him is going to be the creeps. But they'll take down this shrine, it looks like. And even fighting around the shrine, Winstrike don't feel confident doing it.
Yeah, there is vision in the area thanks to the Wolves. They're scouting out where VGJ Storm are at. And it means Winstrike won't make any sort of mistake here. But the tier 2 tower falls now, and nothing's stopping them from securing that last lane of Rex.
Butterfly done for resolution.
Oh, they're trying to wrap around behind them. I don't know if this is going to benefit Winstrike.
I mean, they see everybody. Global Silence comes out. They have the snowball as well. The dodge away from the gust. dealing the damage down to Mirana, but already No Fear is gone, and Nangrata trying to take down SVG, and it does look like they're going to be able to find that kill, but it's going to come at a cost, as all of them are surrounded. They're stuck down in the trees on the low ground. He doesn't have anywhere left to go. On the other side, they find themselves as he can't deal the damage they need. VGJ Storm, GG.
No answers there for the Drow lineup. VGJ Storm to the lanes, pretty early lead coming out, and truly that moment that decided the game around the 15-minute mark, that was going to be the clash of these two drafts. Whoever won that fight is likely to